Bisma Bashira.
The second world. According to Palestinian officials, Israeli...
We got the sound line. So start. We're still rolling. It's kind of an issue.
Power on. Ready to pair. Paired successfully.
What?
Attacks have killed about 1,700 healthcare workers in Gaza since October 2023. American doctor follows the orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Mark Perlmutter, the trauma surgeon, Dr. Feroz, California, and the emergency physician from Chicago, Dr. Thayer Ahmed, who is Palestinian American. This is the film's trailer. It begins with Dr. Ahmed.
I want to take you through what Gaza looks like when the hospital's totally overwhelmed. You're getting waves of patients. What do you prioritize? What do you have to treat them? You got no pain medicine to give the people whose legs have been blown off.
3 surgeons all working on one little girl for, 2.5 hours?
And she's probably going to lose her right leg, and her left arm.
And she's starting to wake up. Let's get her warm. I knew nothing about Gaza. Like most Americans, I thought everybody out here were nothing but terrorists because that's what I was told.
I'm not Israeli, I'm not Palestinian, I'm not Christian, I'm not Muslim, I'm not Jewish. I don't really have any connection to it. As an American, I just don't want my government involved in crimes.
I'm a Palestinian. I'm not a spokesperson. I'm a human being. I'm a U.S. doctor who wants to see babies like my babies not be killed anymore.
What surprised me most was how the carnage was focused on journalists, healthcare workers, and children. Where was that?
That bomb hit the building.
There was a 15-year-old kid ready for discharge that was incinerated.
And if I had gone down in this changing mechanism dressing, there would have been 3 bodies and I would have been one of them.
When they hit a hospital, that's a deep tragedy that people will feel in the community for the foreseeable future. We're just asking that hospitals not be targeted. Why that conversation is derailed in the United States is beyond me.
We do not have to accept that as Americans.
We don't have to accept that as human beings.
All sorts of weapons. This is a political problem. We need political solutions.
Other animals, why are we doing that?
We're a good pair. You talk intelligently and I talk emotionally.
It's on us to make sure that their stories are told.
We are animals.
I got rejected. And then I come back to the United States and get detained by the Department of Homeland Security. This is what my tax dollars did. What your tax dollars did. What my neighbor's tax dollars did. They have the right to know the truth.
The trailer of the new film American Doctor, and this is a clip from the film featuring Dr. Thayer Ahmed.
And I want to just take you through what it looks like when a hospital gets targeted and attacked, because this has become a pattern when it comes to the Israeli military. This has become a behavior that they started in October of 2023.
It started
when they
before
struck Al-Ma'nadani Ahli Baptist Hospital. And when that happened, and that there was no accountability, we saw that this became a series of events that affects every hospital.
And that was Dr. Thayer in the new documentary American Doctor that's opening around the country, starting here in New York. Dr. Ahmed is joining us now from Chicago, along with Dr. Feroz Sidwa from Stockton, California, also featured in the film, and the film's director, Po Si Tang. We welcome you all. An astounding film, and this is your directorial debut, isn't it, Po?
Yes, it is. I think I picked an easy subject.
Let's start with Dr. Thayer, who we just heard. I was just looking at the headlines this morning. Thousands of Palestinians in Gaza cannot get out right now thousands of cancer patients and chronically ill people. What is the number? Who has defined that and who is stopping them?
Yeah, the WHO tells us that there are 18,000 people that need urgent evacuation out of Gaza because of what we've seen portrayed in this film, the deliberate attack by the Israeli military on the hospital and healthcare infrastructure, the killing of over 1,700 healthcare workers, and the abduction of senior medical physicians. And, Amy, one of the things that we're trying to push for here is a corridor that used to exist before October 7th. Palestinians in Gaza could go to Jerusalem and get treated by Palestinian doctors in the hospitals there, or the West Bank. And the Israelis have refused to allow that corridor to work. And so instead, we are watching people on this list every day that we get messages about get their names scratched off because they have died. People with treatable cancers, kids who should be surviving, their parents are having to bury them in Gaza.
Oh, talk about how you ended up making this film and focusing on these three men, and of course, through them, focusing on what is happening in Gaza.
Amy, I was a journalist for a long time before I became a documentary filmmaker and producer, and it really was, it really cut really deep as a former journalist to see my former colleagues at Al Jazeera English being targeted and executed, and then sitting and being situated in New York and hearing the deafening silence.
Journalists.
I just
reporting the truth.
I guess I didn't know what else to do. It was like a lot of deep despair. And then it came to the search. I'm like, okay, what can my contribution be? As somebody who was a journalist, who was a documentary commissioner, who was an executive for a studio. So one thing, as a former studio executive, it wasn't lost on me that Americans like to watch medical dramas. Every year, you're going to see 2 or 3, and I'm a big fan of medical dramas from going back to ER, going back to Grey's Anatomy. I love Scrubs. So there was something about doctors, hospitals, and human mortality. And I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe this is the way. Maybe we could make the pit. The difference is it's real and it's set in Gaza. And this is how we're going to bring Palestine back to the United States.
So, in the opening scene, we see you with Dr. Mark, with Dr. Perlmutter, and you are struggling with the question of whether or not to show the images of Palestinian children killed in Israeli airstrikes in Gaza. And Dr. Mark tells you Israel took away their dignity, their bodies tell the story of this trauma, of this genocide. You're not doing them a service by not showing them.
During this
on that scene, it was one where
you were at his home in North Carolina.
I was at his home in North Carolina. It's the second day of filming, and Mark is furious with me. And so that moment, I was really confronted by Mark. So what are you doing here? So what is the point of this film if you don't want to show this? And all my years as a documentary commissioner and also as a journalist, it's like, as filmmakers, as journalists, we always grapple with how much do we show? We show too much. It's gratuitous. People are going to turn away. They're not going to want to watch. They don't want to see what's on the social media feeds. They don't want to follow. You show too little. It's a big disrespect because it's not real.
Let's go to Dr. Mark Perlmutter in a clip from American Doctor.
And Halloween is not meant to
do a thumbs up.
One at a time. Do a thumbs up. Each finger at a time.
Do a thumbs up.
I think augmenting his EPO and giving him some wrist extension because if I hold his wrist in extension, he has meaningful digital extension. So he would be a wonderful candidate for tendon transfers. Yeah, we can do it this machine. He will
reconnect the tendons so he can lift his wrist and thumb.
And this is Dr. Feroz Sidwa sitting here in New York in our studio, but from the clip from American Doctor, preparing to leave Gaza.
I'll see you soon, man. Thanks for everything. Send me a picture of your wedding.
Emergency surgery.
Thanks to come here. No. I hope I'll see you soon. Thank you. Thank you. No, thank you for everything, my friend. Nice to meet you, my friend. Thanks for everything. See you soon. Inshallah. It's this weird thing that happens when you leave Gaza and you really feel like you have no right to leave.
So, Dr. Feroz, that's you leaving Gaza. Talk about how you went to Gaza, the number of times you were there.
Yeah, so I went in March and April of 2024, and then again in March and April of 2025. That's that you're watching there. I tried to go again in November of 2025, but the Israeli military blocked me from entering. Between the two times, Gaza changed a lot. It actually got very significantly worse. The overcrowding was worse. The damage to the healthcare system was much worse.
So if you're serious about that,
but yeah, the second time was when you see me in that clip.
It's painful.
Talk about why you chose to go to Gaza.
Well, I don't have any ethnic or religious connection to the Middle East. My family's from a small minority in India and Pakistan, but I grew up in the United States. I was born here. I'm an American, and the United States is intimately involved in what's going on. We provide almost all of the weapons, all of the funding, the diplomatic support at the UN, stopping other countries from solving this issue, which is pretty easily solved. And I don't think Americans want to be doing that. I think that's why most of this is hidden from them. So I knew that by going there, I could, number one, provide medical care because I'm a trauma surgeon, so that's what I'm good at doing. But I could also bear witness, and then I could come back and try to tell people what was going on and try to change things.
And you say, I don't feel I have the right to leave.
It's a very strange thing when you leave Gaza. You almost, it seems like a moral or ethical obscenity that I just get to walk out of this place and these children otherwise have to live in this Hobbesian place where their parents' legs can be blown off, or they can be kidnapped and tortured, or they can be starved, or they can,
How many kids have died?
How many children have died in Gaza? The count from the Ministry of Health is 20,000. It's by my estimate, it's probably closer to 70,000. But that's
so you get in twice. You're denied once. Dr. Thar Ahmed, you're Palestinian American with the Palestinian American Medical Association as well. You weren't able to get in as much.
Yeah, I've been denied 5 consecutive times. Most recently, July 29th, because my parents and my grandparents are Palestinian. Because I am Palestinian, that is the reason that we are being rejected. There's a deliberate effort, Amy, to separate the West Bank from Jerusalem, from Gaza. And the idea is to make sure that there can be no Palestine. And the way to do that is to make sure that this one people, this one land, cannot access each other. And that's something that we're seeing. And I obviously push back on that because what we saw in Gaza was a genocide unfold and ethnic cleansing. And what we're seeing in the West Bank right now is that same institution, that same military wreaking havoc on the people of Palestine. I mean, just last month, when I was in the West Bank working on a medical mission there was a 7-month-old, Sam Abu Haika, driving with his parents in the car, going from Bethlehem to Hebron, a 10-15 minute drive. And an Israeli soldier shoots at the car, hitting Sam in the head. His mom recently said that she's not even wiping his fingerprints from the oven. She can't bring herself to do that for her baby boy. And who died? He was killed. They had to bury him.
The final scene of the film is of Israel's double-tap strike on Nasser Hospital. This was exactly a year ago in August. That killed at least 20 people, including 5 Palestinian journalists. Hussam al-Masri, a photojournalist with Reuters, Mohammed Salama, a photojournalist with Al Jazeera, Mariam Abu Daka, a freelancer who worked with the Associated Press, Moaz Abu Taha, a photographer, and Middle East Eye freelancer Ahmed Abu Aziz. Talk about the significance of this moment. Were any of you there? And what it meant to hit the hospital? And then when people went to try to save these people who'd set up a camera, the journalists, they were hit.
Yeah, I mean, this is not something that is unique to Nasser specifically. That's the 3rd or 4th time it's been attacked by the Israeli military. I was there one of the first times in January and February 2024 when the Israeli military surrounded, raided, and actually abducted Dr. Khaled Abu Sir, who's been on this program. And as well as multiple times afterwards when Feroz and Mark were actually there, and it was...
You were at Nasser, just not then.
Not during that attack that you mentioned, but on March 23rd, yeah.
And speaking of, like all the journalists who were killed on that stairwell, like that is where our team would transmit footage to us. So it's not like they're just attacking willy-nilly, it's very concerted effort in targeting anywhere where journalists and trying to transmit information and footage out to the rest of the world.
And you use much footage from Palestinians, right?
Absolutely.
On their iPhones, on their phones.
Yeah, no, actually not. Actually, we were relying on a cinematographer, a director of photography by the name of Ibrahim Al-Otla. There were two of our colleagues, Ibrahim and a co-producer, Muhammad Sawaf. So much of what you see in the film, it's a credit to them, and also because of their sacrifice of how much they want it out in the world.
And before we go, both of you doctors have a pin on Free Dr. Hussam Abu Safia. In this last 30 seconds, talk about the former head of Adwan, the pediatric hospital, Dr. Thayer. You knew him.
Yeah. I mean, this is somebody who has been abducted, is in prison without charge, is being tortured. His lawyer thinks that he is on the brink of death, and his family continues to ask the world to stand up. He's one of 14 senior Palestinian medical doctors who should be in Gaza leading the recovery and reconstruction, and instead they're being beaten to death by Israeli soldiers. He's in an underground prison in Israel, one that was shut down previously and reopened for this specific purpose.
We're going to leave it there, but people can see this film all over the country. Poe, where?
We're kicking off in New York, and then we go to LA, San Francisco, and then it's going to be in 77 theaters across US and Canada. And I will say, before we began, we did not ever think that, a film like this could go mainstream, but now we have, and so we hope people will be able to watch it.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman as we bring you part 2 of our conversation about the new documentary that's opening around the United States and Canada called American Doctor. It tells the story of 3 doctors, U.S. doctors, who volunteered in the besieged hospitals of Gaza. Following the
oath that you signed.
The orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Mark Perlmutter from North Carolina. The trauma surgeon, Feroz Sidwa from Stockton, California. And the Chicago emergency physician, Dr. Thayer Ahmed, who is Palestinian American. In March of last year, we actually spoke to Dr. Feroz Sidwa and Dr. Mark Perlmutter when they were volunteering at the Nasser Medical Complex in Khan Yunis, Gaza. I asked Dr. Perlmutter about the Palestinian doctors and medical staff in Gaza who had been detained by Israeli forces.
He's an additional
I have a colleague, an orthopedic surgeon, specializes in pediatric orthopedics, who was abducted from the hospital, from the operating room in February of 2024. He was just released. When he was arrested, he was strip searched, marched naked in front of his colleagues, beaten on a daily basis in an Israeli prison, beaten more intensely when he asked to speak to a lawyer, and even more intensely after he spoke to his lawyer. He had his fingers broken in his hands. He had, while handcuffs on, guards step on the handcuffs to torque them into the nerves of his hand, ruining the nerves in his operative hands. And if the physical daily beatings and the loss of his hand function wasn't enough, the psychological torture, which is their specialty, according to almost everybody who's been released, and there's still approximately 350 healthcare workers in Israeli prisons, all without charges.
By their leader.
The psychological torture is immense.
Thinks he's a man.
That was Dr. Mark Perlmutter on Democracy Now! In early March of 2025, featured in the new documentary American Doctor. He was sitting next to, in front of the Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis, Dr. Feroz Sidwa. Dr. Thayer Ahmed is also joining us in the studio with Dr. Feroz and the film's first-time director, an amazing film, Posi Tang. So, Dr. Feroz, you're now seeing that maybe for...
I'll cut this for timeline.
First time sitting here was the two of you sitting in front of...
Still recording audio, but the screen should be kind of a multi-purple. Stand on. Yep. 19 minutes, 27